Well, hello everyone again. This is Devin Murray with Attract More Families, helping private and parochial schools market themselves better, grow their enrollment, and regain the life that their administrators hope they can have. So today, this is another one of my master classes. Just wanted to real quickly dig into Facebook for private schools, a little bit about how to use it, what to do, some of the admin settings we can have. I'm really going to hope to make this a much quicker course than some of the other ones. But I do get some questions on this every so often and discussions more about the images to use and some of the best practices. So I'm going to dig into those towards the end of this masterclass. But first, before we get too far, let's just look at a couple of the numbers that we're talking about when we're dealing with Facebook and why it is so important. I think we all know from our personal lives that everyone uses Facebook, but sometimes I think we do not quite realize how big it really is. Right now there's just over 1 billion monthly users. The average person spending just under 7 hours a month on Facebook per user. And that number is actually skyrocketing quickly. This is actually the last statistic that I was able to pull up. 1 out of every 7 minutes online is spent on Facebook. That is huge, especially with the election and everything that's recently happened. That number is probably 3 times that now. Facebook is also, if you don't know this, the number 3 search engine in the world. It goes Google, YouTube, and then Facebook. Facebook actually is a search engine along with a social media platform. People are on there, they're searching, they're finding stuff. They're now doing a lot more business directly on Facebook without ever leaving it. So these numbers are growing rapidly. There's 250 million photos added daily. People love photos. There's 500 plus million likes per day. People just love to like it because people upload the pictures, then everyone likes the pictures. There's 140 billion friends connected. That ought to tell you something. A couple little more numbers. On an average day, 15% of Facebook users update their status. So 15% of the people go in and actually post something on their timelines every single day. 22% of comment on another person's post during the day. That's not just liking, that's actually making a comment on it. Tells you that people are actively engaged on Facebook. They make comments, they respond. Start thinking about how this can play out in your school, right? If people are making updates, if 15% of the people are making updates and 22% are commenting, that says that 15% of the days you should be making a post for your school, if not more often. Personally, I think that you should be doing it daily, but I understand that that doesn't always make sense. But at least 15% of the time, so once or twice a week, really, you need to be making a Facebook post. It also says that you're going to be getting comments about 22% of the time. People are going to be commenting on your posts, and you want to be seeing that they're making those comments. 20% comment on another user's photo. People love photos. 26% people like another person's comment, so 1 out of 4 people is commenting, is putting a like up or a response. That also includes the loves, the likes, the hates, all of those new comments they have. And 10% of people send another person a private message every single day. So 1 out of 10 people are sending messages. They are either just using Messenger to send a message, or they are finding a post that they like and forwarding it to people. That's a lot of what you see, is people are finding posts and images that they find interesting and intriguing, and they're not just posting it to their timeline, sharing it to their timeline. They're actually saying, this has benefit to one of my friends or a group of friends, and they're sending that information to them. What I want you to think about that, take away from this, that educational material, that expert authority content that I'm always asking you to create and do, that educational marketing, teaching people how to be better consumers, showing that you are the expert. That's the kind of content that when you take it to Facebook that they send to another person. Even if it's not something that they want to use, the fact that you had that comment, how people how kids' brains work, how kids learn, how to discipline kids, how to help a kid get over a loss. Those kinds of articles are the kinds of articles that people will take from your Facebook page and share them and send a private message to a friend that might be having the same issue with a child. Now, that child may or may not be in your area. It might be a prospect customer, it might not be. And the person sharing might not even be one of your customers. But if they keep sharing that information, they keep viewing you as the expert, at some point a certain percentage of those people will become your customers. So that's why it's so important. That's why I keep talking about that kind of stuff. Educational, informational marketing, being the authority figure in child education in your area. This is some of the reasons why I believe in that so much, because of the messages that are being shared and liked and commented on. You'll also find that an average millennial has 318 friends. And remember, the millennials are the ones that have the kids now. They're the ones who are getting to the age where they're now putting their kids into private schools, or have the option to put their kids into private schools. And the majority of them have, or on average, have 318 friends. This really plays in when we start looking at lookalike audiences and marketing to these folks, because we can say, I want to market to the friends of my customers. Think about that. If each one of your customers has 318 friends on average, even if you only have half of those in your area, so let's call it 150 friends in and around your area that could possibly use you as the private school of choice. And if you only have 100 parents or families there, look at the numbers of friends that you can be marketing to, that you could be driving into your school to at least have the opportunity to show that you are the right option for them. Now, are all those 318 friends within your area of service? No. People that would actually make sense to drive to you. Someone who lives in Chicago may very well have friends in Boston and Miami and Denver and Portland, Oregon, because they went to school with them, or their family, or their people that they met on trips. So no, not all of them are going to be that. But let's just look, if only half of them live in the Chicago area. That's 150 people. Now let's take that down and say only 10% of those are actually that have kids of the age and everything else. That's still 15 people per family member. If you have 100 kids there, that's 1,500 people that would make sense and could actually be using you as a school for their kids. What would that do to your enrollment? Now, I'm using low numbers here, but just look at how fast that would add to the number of people you have in your school, and what that can do for your enrollments, what you can charge, what you can do for your students, because you can charge more, so you can afford to have more better quality things. You can pay your teachers and staff more. Really, Facebook and this ability to connect so quickly is what is so powerful about Facebook from us as a marketing standpoint. So real quick, let's just kind of talk. Every so often I do see some problems with this, especially with some of the smaller schools or with teachers. This is one of the other places where I run into some trouble. The personal versus business pages. So your personal page, it's about you. It's designed to be social. You need to approve your friends. Now you can control who sees what posts. So when you make a post, you can either have it only to a certain group of friends, to all of your friends, or you can make it public. However, you're not allowed to do business of any type on that page, on your personal profile. And if Facebook ever finds that you are, they can delete your account. Business pages are kind of just the opposite. They're about your school. You have admin control over them, so you can have multiple people who can work on the same page, who can post to the same page. You also get some analytics for that, so you can see which posts are doing well, which posts are not doing well. You can also there's also additional options that make it safer for you to do business. You can control who posts what. You can control what kind of post. You can actually control the level of content, GPG kind of content that people are allowed to post on there. And it's also a great way to reach out to current and prospective parents. You can actually use a business page for marketing. You can market on your page, and you can also use your page to build audiences to market to, which I'll talk more about on some other master classes about how to use Facebook ads, custom audiences, and uploaded audiences, and lookalike audiences. One of the things I want you to kind of take away from this personal versus business page, I know most of you understand your school needs to have a business page, but also realize that business pages can be businesses, they can also be individuals. So, like if you look at myself, I have both the business Facebook page for my company, Attract More Families. I also have the personal business page, which is a outward-looking page that's a business page, but it's just Devin Murray, which is where I can post business-related items, and I don't have to approve people to come in, but I still get that same level of control and safety. What I strongly suggest with this is if anyone in your business, especially teachers, want to have a page and they're putting outward bound stuff for students and stuff, they should really be doing it on their own personal business page. There's nothing wrong with that, and it's actually a great way to keep those two separate. So they can have, so Miss Peggy can have both her personal profile page where she can post her dogs and what's happening with her kids and the fight she had with her husband and her having drinks with friends. But then she can also have the business page, which is a business page for a personality or person that allows her to post what's happening in her classroom and school-related pictures of her classroom. And she can do that then without needing to approve students to see her personal life and see everything that's happening with her personally. It also allows her and you to not have to worry about what happens when she does go out on a Friday night and maybe gets a little bit tipsy. Is that going to show up, and are the parents going to see that? It just allows her to control what is seen. And also, because it is an admin page, she can have her personal school page, quote unquote personal page. Because it's a business page, you can require her to allow you to have admin access to it. So if you do see something that she posted inappropriately, you can have it removed. Or if she's sick for a day, you can still post content to it. You can respond to comments. Very powerful and very great way to allow you to have control, but it still looks like a personal profile to everyone who's out there, except for the fact that she doesn't have to approve friends. And this is a great way to have that outward lookingness and that social ability that our current kids like, without having it be the danger to you and to your school for legal issues and everything else. So that's really why I wanted to talk about the business versus personal pages. If you have any questions, always feel free to contact me, give me a call, and we'll see what we can talk about. All right, so let's just real quickly talk about some of the other little things that I see wrong a lot, or that can be improved. So first, there's the cover image, which is the big image. It's 851 pixels wide by 315 pixels high. It's kind of shrunk down a little bit, the area. But this is the big image that's at the top. And some of the things you really want to consider with this is make sure it's a high-resolution image. A lot of times I see people or schools who try and take a picture that someone took on their iPhone and blow it up, crop it down to get the sides and some of the little stuff off of it that they don't want, and then they try and expand it to fit this size image, to fit 700 pixels wide, and it ends up being a little bit grainy, and it just doesn't look as good. So really take the time. This cover image has so much power and psychological effect and subconscious effect on people when they come. You really want to make sure that you do it right. So you really want that high resolution image. Make sure that you're running at a top resolution. Facebook can pull it down as they need to. You want it to contain your logo. You want it to be branding. If at all possible, you want to display your USP, that unique selling proposition. What is it that you do that no one else in your area does? And why should someone do business with you? Why should they enroll their kids with you versus all the other options out there, including not doing anything or staying in the free public school system? So try and find an image that displays that, or words that help display that. Don't just make this cover photo a picture of the sign in front of your school with your name on it. That is not what this is about. This is really about branding and about showing and about subconsciously communicating to people with that picture's worth 1,000 words concept, what you do, why you do it, and why people should be enrolled with you. You want to make a connection with people too. You want eyes looking at people. People to be drawn in, smiling, happy faces, eyes looking at them. That's going to connect with people. You also want people to say, "Yes, that's me. I'm one of them." When they come to your page. So be very, very cautious about using stock photos for your cover photo, because you do not want it to be stock. You want it to be a representation of who you really are. So when someone looks at it, they go, "That's me." You want to display social proof as much as possible. So you don't want to show two kids walking into school with no one behind them, right? You want the line of kids. You want the people that look like your ideal clients. You want them to match your ideal clients. You want lots of happy, smiling faces. You want a full classroom. That kind of social proof. You want people to show that, yes, you are a large, thriving school that has lots of students and lots of happy students. You also want to include a link in the description. This is one of the biggest links that people click. I don't think a lot of people realize that you can click on the cover photo, the cover image, and it actually opens up a dialog box that you can then make a post about the site. You can also learn information. So on that image, you want to have a link both to your website, and I also love to see your phone number there. Right here is one of my kind of goofy pages that I have. That's my personal page, and that's, of course, me with Sir Richard Branson. We were out on his island for a week having some entrepreneurial retreat stuff, and we're talking, and he's actually in the process of answering a question I just asked, which is why I look like I'm starstruck. But you can see right up here there is the add a description. If I wanted to do this right, I would add a description there that gives a little bit of the USP behind my business, behind your school, along with a link back to your website. That way, if someone comes to your Facebook page and they want to come and visit your business, that is one of the fastest ways that they can find it. This is also a great way to build links back to your website when you've heard me talk about SEO and how link building is important. By having these links, this is a link that counts from Facebook back to your page that builds links slowly. Now imagine if your school has one page and each one of your departments or major teachers or major grades has also a Facebook page. You could end up with 5, 6, 7 links back to your website. Again, it doesn't take much to win against the competition. So just real quick, just make sure that you do that. That's one of those great little sneaky tricks I love to kind of hand over to you. Now let's talk about the profile image, which is the little square image down here. There's none of the restrictions that come from a cover photo. The cover photo does have restrictions on the percentage of words that you can put up there. Right now, it's about 20% of the image can be words, no more. And it's actually done on a grid basis. It's kind of weird, so I don't like to cover it a whole lot. But no, all of those restrictions are gone. You also cannot encourage people to upload your profile, the cover photo, but the profile picture isn't that. The profile image is a great place to put your logo or USP as an image. This is where if you do want to have the picture of your sign out front of your building, this is the place to do it. I know a lot of schools love to put their crests there. This is a place to do it, and I'm okay with that. If you can provide maybe a little bit of your USP, that's also great. Hopefully your crest is providing a little bit of information, or your sign out front is providing a little bit of information as to why you are different, what is unique about you versus everybody else. Real quick, just want to, I think I've said this now about 3 different times, but realize that both your cover photo and your profile image have a tremendous impact on what people think about your page and your company. There's a tremendous subconscious level of thinking about those pages that just pull people in real fast, and they either look at those and subconsciously go, this Facebook page is about me and about people like myself and has value, or they say, no, this isn't me, and they kind of leave the page. Or even if they read the content beneath it, they're always thinking, this is not me. So really just make sure that you take the time and put thought into these 2 images. I know it sounds like a lot of effort for such a small thing, but a picture's worth 1,000 words, and the subconscious mind controls everything that we're doing. So make sure that you are paying attention to those cues and are putting some thought into them. It will be worth it in the end. Real quick here, talk about the admin settings that you can have. There's a lot of admin settings. Just feel free to go through them and kind of control them. The ones I get the biggest questions about, one is should you control who can make a post? Should it be admin approved or not? Realize that when people make a comment, especially in this day and age, they want instant gratification. So if all posts have to be approved, then you must do so quickly. It means that you need to be in there checking every couple hours, or have an alert that is sent to you or to some admin about when a comment is made so that it can be posted. Facebook is a social entity, and information is bouncing back and forth, and people want to make comments and respond to comments. So if you do have that fear and you want to make sure that you are controlling when a post is, or when a comment is made, go ahead and make sure that you do it, but make sure that you're responding quickly at all times. I generally say, except for certain times of the year when maybe people are getting a little bit rowdy, I wouldn't have that setting. I would just let people make comments, and you just need to moderate it on a regular basis. Rarely do I find that people have problems, especially if you do it right, which is with the next section. There are certain times a year, or if you had to let a teacher go or a family go because they weren't a good teacher or they weren't paying their bills, then you might want to change that admin setting for a week. Restrict them. So you have to approve comments for that week, because you know that there's a chance that family is going to come back and actually put something up there that you wouldn't want to. But then once that time is gone, go ahead and remove it. The other restriction is you can actually put restrictions on the level of content, and I find the PG content is pretty good for schools. I find that if you go too much below that, if you get down into the G's, especially when you're working with high schools and junior highs, sometimes it'll restrict what a parent can say, not by intention, but some of the words that they think are inappropriate are words, especially when you're talking about the human body and health class and what you're going to be talking about in health class, or an article that you as a teacher might be handing out to people about education and some of the other things that we need to talk about with students. Sometimes you will get restricted and banned, and you'll run into some walls there. You also have the ability to put a restriction on specific words and specific links in the comments. And I find this is a great way to cut down on the amount of spam and junk that people put in there. If they cannot put a link in there, there's really no value to them putting stuff in there. So they can't put an email address in there. They can't put a link to another website or to a competitor's website or to information that you might not want them to have access to. This is a great way to restrict them, is by not allowing links. You can also put a restriction in there for phone numbers. So You can actually say anything that has this area code cannot be in there. That is a great way to control people putting their phone numbers on the web, either to try and get people to call or for inappropriate reasons. You can also wildcard it, so you can do the asterisk, so you can do asterisk, 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 dash, asterisk, 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 dash, 4 more asterisks. And what the wildcard is it says if there's any character at all in there, so that would be area code 3 and then 4 digit codes. Any combination of those would be restricted and not allowed. So that would keep people from putting phone numbers up there. Generally, I find with those restrictions in place, I don't have to worry about what people are going to post. All right, so let's real quickly talk about open versus closed groups or pages. An open group can be viewed by everybody. So this is like your school page. It's great for sharing information with the general public. People can see this page. Anyone can come to that page. You don't have to approve them to see it. Great for the informational and educational pages that we like to do. It can also be seen and shared by the extended family and friends. One of the problems with having that closed page for your school is that it's hard for people to hand it to their friends and let their friends see what's going on with their children, or grandparents, or extended families, those brothers, the uncles, all those folks that still want to be involved in the child's life and know what's happening. If they can't see that stuff, then they're unable to share, and it makes it a lot harder when that group is closed. You'll also find it's harder to market to the friends of friends. Again, remember, all of those millennials have 318 friends or 319 friends. And a certain number of those you're wanting to kind of subtly market to. And if they see that your school is providing this great education and that the kids are having fun and are learning at a much higher pace than their kid is in public school, that's going to be a great reason for them to make that jump to you. And one of the ways you do that is by having your page be opened so that every time one of your parents likes a post that you put up, their friends will see it and can come and see it and can come read it and see those images. That's one of the great things about it. So you want to make sure that you can see and share. That's one of the great things about having an open page. You can also build lookalike audiences for marketing much easier with having an open page. The open page, the concept there being that I can say, I want you to build me an audience that looks like all of the people who already like my page. Now, the people who like your page, your school's page, are probably your parents and their friends who like that information, who just, maybe they don't have a kid of age yet to enroll, but they will. You can say, I want you to find me an audience that looks just like these people that are within my community that I can market to. And Facebook the other day said that they use over 2,000 data points when they're looking at that. They know this is where that big data starts coming into play in our world, is that we can look at that big data, and Facebook looks and goes, okay, we're going to look at these 2,000 data points for people that already like your page or already enrolled with you. And we're going to take those and we're going to look out to an area around you and find people that are just like them that you can then advertise to. So by having an open page, you can encourage more of those ideal customers to like it, so that they can map those data points much larger. Let's see, a closed group is great for private groups or clubs within your school. Again, nobody can see it. You have to approve who's allowed into it. It's almost like your personal page, but it does restrict who can be there and who can see the content. So when you post content in that group, people can't share it out and have people who are not also a member of that group share it or see it, or if they like or if they like a post from there, it can't be shared out and seen by people who are not a part of that group. But it's still good for those clubs that you want to be able to post more private information and not just public information. This is a great way for keeping parents and students informed with changes. So you might want to have a public page that is your social page for your school, and then you might want to have a closed group page where you can post when the school is closed, those kinds of materials. It's more of an admin page, or for different classes, a teacher might be able to post the homework assignments and what chapters to read or when assignments are due, and that way the parent and the teacher has access to that. If you look at my business, I have both. I have the Attract More Families open page, which is my business page where I post all of my information. I post my educational articles. Obviously, these master classes get posted there. The articles that go along with the master classes get posted there. I also have a private closed group for all of my insider members, for all of my coaching and consulting clients. In there is where I post our private calls. I post when our calls are. And you cannot see that group unless I've approved you. But it's a way for me to have that admin, and it also allows my members to actually communicate and ask questions and help each other, kind of as a mini mastermind, and then I can step in there and help out and put little comments in there as I need to. So kind of think about having both, but realize what is your goal too. Do not have a closed school page that no one can see and share, because that's not going to help you market better. That's not going to help you fill enrollments. But also, you don't want that private information about what the homework assignments are and stuff, all that public. All right, so let's kind of just talk about real quick about best practices for Facebook. These are some of the things I just think sometimes we miss these, and it's a great reminder to have these in our head. The first one is you want to be interactive, fun, and helpful. Right? Don't take yourself too seriously on Facebook. It's social media. It's fun. Go ahead and show the goofy picture of yourself. Right? If it's Casual Friday, show that the staff is in jeans. When you look at the marketing calendars, I think I've talked about numerous times before in other master classes, how every single day there's a holiday of some kind. Every single week there's a weekly holiday or theme, along with months. As you support those, go ahead and enjoy and show your goofiness. Again, if it's donut day, and there's a holiday, which is the National Donut Day holiday, have donuts brought in. Take some pictures of that. Show your staff eating donuts. That's, be interactive. That's fun. Be interactive. Engage in two-way conversations. This is social media. It's not just about you broadcasting to them. It's also about you having information back from them and then talking about stuff. And be helpful. Don't just be out there selling. You're out there to be helpful. Provide information. Be that authority figure that people want in their lives, and especially when related to schools. Post interesting educational and child-related news. This is not just about your articles either, which I'm always talking about you doing. Talk about your educational and authority figure articles. But as you also see articles in other online websites and news articles and stuff like that, make sure that you're posting those up to that social media, up to your Facebook page. Make your Facebook page, your school's Facebook page, a go-to resource for any parent in your area. Even be posting articles about community events that are happening, right? Because you want to be a part of your community. So don't just be selling your program. Make your website a place that people want to visit, to keep up to date on the news and to entertain themselves. So when the library or the park has a special event, when there's a special kid or educational related event, have that stuff out there. When one of your other schools in the area maybe goes to state or is having a competition of some kind, have that information out there. Be a part of the community, not just a part of your school. So really be posting lots of great information and content out there. Another thing you want to be doing is you want to like other companies and organizations in your geographical area and or related industry. This is especially true for businesses that you partner with. So make sure that you're liking, the pediatric dentist, the orthodontist that you're referring kids to and that are referring people to you. Make sure that you're liking the churches in your area. This is a two-way street. Make sure that you're liking them and have them like you back. That way you can share information. And also people can look and go, oh, here's who they like. That might be a good recommendation or a good referral for me to follow. Other best practices, you want to post regularly, especially when people are most likely to be reading on Facebook. As a general rule, this is, as I say, you want to post daily or at least every 2-3 days, and generally in that early afternoon. Because, again, remember that as people post, your post will be dropped down to the bottom. So if you're posting at a time when no one's reading it, that late morning, it's going to get completely lost. So think about, when do people read Facebook? When are your ideal clients on Facebook? For a lot of ours, it's when they're picking up their kids from school. It's when they're sitting at dance class, gymnastics class, football practice, soccer practice. When they're sitting there waiting for things to happen, that's when they pick up their smartphone and they skim through Facebook. So you want to have made a post right before then. Obviously, remember that you can time these posts. So you can do all of your posts for a week, especially all of your informational posts for the week. You can do them on Monday or Friday and schedule them to go out at the appropriate time and the appropriate day. But you want to make sure that you're putting them out when you get responses. The best way to figure that out too, if you're not sure, start with the afternoon, but then kind of vary it and see when people are responding and liking your comments the most, or your posts, when they're providing comments and likes the most. You want to think visually. I think you should probably understand this by now, that pretty much everything on Facebook is a visual. It's about the image. This is where Instagram has really come into. So make sure that you have some kind of a image that you can go ahead and post stuff to, or go along with a post. There are several different sites out there. One of the ones I like is a site called Canvas, which actually has stock photos that I can use to put at the top of every single post I have. Even if it's beware, tomorrow might be a snow day. There's a major storm coming, and we're already on the lookout for snow to hit. Why not put a picture of a kid all bundled up in snow gear, or a stock photo of a snowplow? Something that just gets people's attention. Those are great sites. Just make sure that every single post has some kind of an image with it. You also want to actively engage your audience. So make sure that you're asking for comments and likes and feedback. Facebook is a social media site. They want you to be social. So go ahead and maybe post an article about a new thought on education. That's a big one right now, is what foods are best for kids. I was trying to think what I saw in the last week here. And one or two of the big ones that we've been putting out is, nutrition for kids and what kids should be eating, and how they should not be eating certain things, and how to get kids out of the habit of eating those different bad foods. So why not post that article and then ask over the next couple of days, what do you think of this? Have you been able to implement this? What have been your problems implementing this? Would you do this? Even knowing that this is best for your kid, would you still do it? Or would you say that it's too much of a hassle? Go ahead and ask those questions. Ask for feedback. When you're looking to maybe implement a new class or a new curriculum or something, ask for feedback. Be social. Be out there asking questions and enjoying Facebook and enjoying your current parents. So I hope that was helpful, gave you some best practices, some little things that you can be doing and should be doing on Facebook. Again, this has been Devin Murray with AttractMoreFamilies.com. If I can ever be of help to you, feel free to give me a call or set up a consultation with me, and let's see if we can grow your enrollments and help make your school better and seen more by your ideal parents. Take care, and we'll talk to you again next week. God bless.